Hey YouTube, how's it going? I'm sure you're curious about the title, and I will explain that in a moment. First of all, I have got to say that today, actually yesterday, it was late yesterday, something really cool happened. And I didn't think to mention it yesterday, but I don't know why, because it's at the forefront of my mind. It's the single greatest thing that has happened around here in quite a long time. And I admit, that's almost kind of sad. But it's still really fantastic. You know what's really fantastic? This is. And you ask, why is he so thrilled about a trash can? Well, because up until yesterday, I had been on bag service for, well, since early spring, I think it was. I had one of these bins before for my trash, but I got into some trouble keeping up with the bill, and so they switched me over to bag service because it was cheaper and so on. And not only that, but they were nice enough to put me on a month-to-month pay instead of quarterly. You know, that quarterly thing gets pretty hefty, and it just doesn't work for me. And so, a few days ago, I called them. When I paid the bill, I called them, and I asked about getting back on the container service. And can we do this on a monthly basis instead of quarterly? Because quarterly is what got me into trouble. And they decided to go ahead and do it. It'll cost me like $2 or $3 a month extra because it's rental on the container, of course. But I don't care. I'm so glad to have that. You know, bag service is a mess because you take your trash down to the street and then the neighborhood wildlife spreads it all over the neighborhood. Yeah, not thrilled about that. So, anyway, it's container time again. Keep the thing in the carport next to the door and just start throwing trash into it all week, and then Sunday afternoon take it down to the street and forget about it. Beautiful. No mess, no muss. No trash being scattered all over the neighborhood by the area dogs and so on. Alright, anyway, as for the title. There have been several people asking me if I was going to restart doing a Banished series. And while I think I am going to do some regular episodes of Banished, regular LP style things on the gaming channel, I was thinking of a kind of a variation on that here on this channel, which is basically I will put up some footage of the gameplay that I'm talking about. And for example, right now you're seeing the very start of the game where I'm putting in the name of the place, which is Vlogonia, and the map seed and the various settings and whatnot. I've got it on a fair climate. It's large terrain, and the difficulty setting is hard, and so on. And we start out in year 1 in early spring. And basically, getting started, especially on a hard game, you have to be careful about how much building you do. I figured out early on that one of the first things to build is the gatherer's hut. This is a facility where they go around and do a bunch of gathering of things that they can use for food. You know, assorted stuff and things they find in the woods. And the next thing built is a forester's lodge, because that one is in charge of cutting trees as well as planting. Because if you cut without planting, you run into trouble quickly. And I had to help things along to start with, to designate areas to be cut of wood, cleared of stone, cleared of iron, because in this particular game, iron just magically appears on the surface. At least initially it does. There's quite a bit of it, along with quite a bit of stone. Later on you need mines to get a hold of that stuff. Iron mine, coal mine, quarries for stone, and so on. But that comes much later. And while I did position a couple of houses to start with, I paused them because they needed to put the priority on getting the gatherer's hut done and then getting the forestry hut done. And after those two were done, I let them go ahead and finish the two houses. It's not enough housing for all the people there. There's like a dozen people. And a few kids were born during that year. And once the two houses were done, set them up with, let's see, I started to set up a hunter's lodge, and then realized I had to pause that and get a woodcutter going, because the woodcutter is the one that takes logs and makes firewood. And without firewood, it'd be a real cold winter and we have people dying. We don't want that. So I put the brakes on everything else, put the priority on the woodcutter, and get that finished first, and then do the hunting lodge. It was, yeah, the hunting lodge. Hunting lodge, along with the gatherer's hut, is going to be their main source of food through the winter. And I was surprised by the winter because it didn't snow. And that was really good, I think. The temperature was getting down low. It spent most of the winter in the mid to low 30s Fahrenheit. So it got plenty cold, but it didn't snow at all. And if it had snowed, I would have seen, because the ground would have turned white and whatnot. I have the weather, the actual weather display effects turned off, because it makes it actually clouds it up and makes it so hard to see that you can't see what's going on in town. So the rain and wind, well, the rain and snow and fog and stuff like that that comes through is turned off just simply for visibility's sake. And as it turns out, they made it through the winter all right. Nobody died yet. And we are now, I have now stopped it and saved at the beginning of spring, early spring of the year 2. Now, I figure what I'm going to do is basically a little bit of some footage of what's going on, screenshots and things like that, and sort of a synopsis of the progress of these people in this town. And you guys can easily provide plenty of input, because I haven't even played this game in a couple of months. And I don't know why, because it's really a lot of fun. Now, this little synopsis, it may seem like I've been jabbering forever, but actually, the events that I described running the game at 5x took about 35 minutes to actually do in real time. So that's why, you know, the regular LP episodes of Banished on the gaming channel will probably be about a half an hour or so. But I figured for vlogging while banished, I could kind of cut things down and do a synopsis of stuff. A little something different, a little sort of changing things up. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.